Today we are predicting the most unpredictable conference, the Big 12. The Big 12 lost Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, but this year they'll add 4 former Pac-12 teams, and I think they'll have varying degrees of success this year. So let's get into what I think the Big 12 will look like this year. Alright, so we're going to start from the bottom and make our way up to the top. Coming in at last place, number 16, Arizona State. Got them with a record of 2-10 and 0-9 in conference play. They got Cam Scatabo and not much else. They had a tough season last year in the Pac-12, and I think it will be really more of the same in this new conference. They'll have to adjust to playing new competition, and they actually have one of the tougher schedules in the conference as well. So unfortunately, I got Arizona State at number 16. All right, number 15 coming in, and number 15 in the conference is Baylor. 3-9. They'll get probably 1 win in the conference, and they actually have to play like 10 conference games. I saw like a couple teams in the Big 12 actually have to play 10 Big 12 conference games, which is interesting. But overall, the Baylor fall off has to be studied. Just a few years ago, they were in the conference championship game under Dave Aranda and actually won. But last season, they were just 3-9. I don't think the changes they've made will give the Bears a huge improvement. Their 2 conference wins last year were also by just a combined 4 points. I don't think it will get much better for Baylor. I have them coming in at number 15. Number 14, Houston. They had kind of a tough time converting from the AAC to the Big 12. And again, with all this new chaos, I see them kind of getting mugged down by all the new teams and everything going on in this new Big 12. Quarterback Donovan Smith is back, and he can help them win a few games, but their defense is average in the Big 12 at best. I see them getting a few wins here and there, one over Iowa State, another over Baylor, but overall, I got the Houston Cougars coming in at number 14. Number 13 is BYU. After having a few successful years as an independent team, they really struggled in the Big 12, and they really fell off a cliff after having a decent start of 5-2. This year, I see things going really up and down. They have 2 sneaky tough out-of-conference road games at SMU and at Wyoming. Overall, the talent level for BYU this year is not like it was a few years ago. The Cougars will really lose against superior teams and manage to gain a few wins against inferior ones. Number 12, a bit of a step up in terms of record. Iowa State, I have them coming in at 6-6, 3-6 in conference play. Iowa State is usually pretty middle of the road, and they'll continue that trend this year. They'll be able to beat Iowa this time around, but their final 4 games are real tough. But a bright spot for Iowa State is their sophomore quarterback and running back duo of Rokobet and Abu Sama. Overall, Iowa State is solid across the board, but there's not really enough to propel them into the upper echelon of Big 12 teams. Coming in at number 11, the Cincinnati Bearcats. I have them coming in at 6-6, 3-6 as well. Luke Fickell left, and Cincinnati joined a major conference, and they've kind of fallen by the wayside after their college football playoff appearance. And also, you know, with the leave of big stars like Desmond Ridder and Sauce Gardner and not having that star power really to replace them has really kind of hurt. They have the full offensive line back, which will help young quarterback Brendan Sorsby. And I see the Bearcats getting a bit better from last year in terms of conference play. They'll beat Arizona State and Houston at home and catch Iowa State in November. Overall, a decent season for Cincinnati, a little bit of an improvement. Coming in at number 10, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 6-6 and 4-5 in conference play. Teams should always fear going into Lubbock, Texas. You never know what Texas Tech can do. Overall, you never know what Texas Tech can cook up. The Red Raiders have 1,500-yard rusher Taj Brooks back, and they bring in a 5-star freshman wide receiver Micah Hudson to lead the receiving corps. While defense is a concern for the Red Raiders, I see them becoming bowl eligible again this year. Coming in at number 9, we got our first winning record team. The Arizona Wildcats got them going 7-5 and 5-5 in conference play. It will be hard to replace Jedd Fisch as the coach. Arizona's coming off a huge 10-3 season where they finished the season very good. Obviously here, I don't think they can exactly replicate what they had in the Pac-12. They kind of preyed on some injured teams throughout the end of the season, but overall they have a lot of returning guys from that last season, and it will be really fun to watch Noah Fafita back. He could even be a dark horse for all first team in the conference. Maybe even Heisman, might be stretching there, but maybe. Coming in at number 8 is the Colorado Buffaloes. Got them going 7-5 and 4-5. Last year, I thought they were going to be around this record. Obviously disappointed. They're coming off probably the most overhyped season of all time, just to go, 4-8. It'll be really interesting to see how Colorado does. Offensive line is a big concern, and while they have made some improvements, again, the skill guys are going to have to carry. They have 3 difficult games to end the season against Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. They might kind of collapse at the end of the season just like they did last year. I do see them becoming bowl eligible this year. Coming in at number 7, we got UCF, 7-5, 4-5 in conference play. UCF will bring in Arkansas transfer KJ Jefferson. I was kind of high on him going into last year, and he was a bit of a disappointment at Arkansas, but he has had really good experience against good defenses. So against some shaky defenses in the Big 12, he could really thrive with UCF. And I kind of see them chipping away, contending at every game, ultimately grinding to a winning season. Coming in at number 6, we got TCU. I see them going 8-4 and 5-4 in conference play. The fall off from the 2022 national championship appearance was rough, but I see this as a building block back to that point. Josh Hoover, who took over last year, will get the definitive start this year, and hopefully that will help the offense for TCU, and the defense will get a new look this year, which will probably be for the best. Overall, TCU will get better this year, but they'll be nowhere close to the 2022 season. Number 5, West Virginia. Got them going 8-4 and 7-2 in conference play. They've been going on a good upward trajectory. Last season they were 9-4, and I think this season will be a bit similar. They have 2 early out of conference games that will get them off to kind of a bad start, but overall they'll have a nice little bounce back there. They got a lot of returning starters on both sides, and they can definitely contend for the conference crown this year. Coming in at number 4, we got the Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State 9-3, 7-2 in conference play. Overall, Kansas State has been pretty good the last 2 years. The last couple of years, they've been contended for a Big 12 championship, and even though they do lose Will Howard to Ohio State, Avery Johnson is a pretty good replacement. They can rely on their defense too, which will have 7 returning starters on that side of the ball. They'll have to be careful against Tulane early in the season, and they have a pretty tough October where I think they'll lose 2 or 3 games during that month. Overall, though, I see them ending the season strong, again, 9-3. Number 3, we got the Oklahoma State Cowboys, 10-2, 7-2 in conference play. I think this will be one of Mike Gundy's better teams that he has had. Obviously, they have arguably the best running back in college football in Ollie Gordon, but they don't just have him. They have an experienced O-line to support him, and they have quarterback Alan Bowman back for his 7th season, so he's bound to be better than average if he's had this much, experience in college football. They have also 10 returning starters on defense as well. I do see them slipping up at Kansas State and at TCU, and they might have slip-ups there, but overall, they're going to be near the top in terms of the Big 12, maybe even contending for a playoff spot. Number 2 will be the Kansas Jayhawks. This might surprise some people. Kansas has been a laughing stock for a long time, but they have been on a very good upward trajectory, getting better each and every season. 3 of their 4 losses last year were by 4 points or less, and this year they avoid Oklahoma State and Utah, 2 of the better teams in the Big 12. They avoid both those teams in the regular season, and Jalen Daniels might be a dark horse for the Heisman. Overall, this is a big year for Kansas, and they might even have, not just Big 12 title crown in their sights, but maybe even a college football playoff appearance, which will just be huge for this program. Coming in at number 1, the Utah Utes, 11-1, 8-1 in conference play. The Utah Utes are coming off a disappointing season last year, but considering nearly their entire offense was injured last year, 8-5 really wasn't that bad. If they don't get bitten by the injury bug again, this team can make it to the playoff for the first time in the school's history. Skill position wise, they have a lot of seniors coming back, including Cam Rising and USC transfer Dorian Singer. Defensively, they're always pretty strong. They have 8 returning starters. I could see them losing at Oklahoma State, but overall the Utes are primed to win the Big 12 their first year in it. All right, that's going to be it for this Big 12 preview. Let me know what you guys think. How do you think your favorite team is going to do? And also let let me know which conference you want me to preview next. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you are enjoying the videos, please consider subscribing down below. Thank you guys all for watching. Peace.